Hello everybody, hope you're all doing fantastically well. It's Connor, we're back here with a bit of an evening roundup. I wanted to get your thoughts on something that I've seen today, but please make sure you catch the stream that we did earlier on. Well worth it, a good 30-minute spell discussing everything that we were discussing in that video, which, as I say, I'm trying to split it up per day, so make sure you check that one out, everybody. We've also got a really nice chat with me and KG yesterday. Well worth it, really in-depth transfer chat, and I want you guys to get involved with that. We are also announcing the winner and releasing the winner of the Patreon giveaway tomorrow. Look, guys, smaller pool of people. Get involved. Well worth it. Free piece of merch. Get on over there. You have to be a Patreon member to get involved, of course. We've got merchandise. 10% off your first order as well, everybody. We've got new stuff coming out consistently. So let's get into exactly what I wanted to get into today. The hand gestures are on point because I'm a bit excited because we've actually got a little bit of sun in the UK. It's lovely. Absolutely fantastic to actually see that, that amber circle in the sky. So I wanted to speak, and you'll see it on the thumbnail right now, and there's been a lot going on at this moment in time about profit and sustainability, and we really have to look at it with our players, and Leeds Live did something quite interesting when it comes to, you know, players. They did a fan vote on who Leeds United fans want to stay, and I've done something similar before, and it's so interesting how Leeds United fans think when it comes to percentages and how much they want certain individuals to stay and who's top of the bill. So top of the bill of who Leeds United want to stay is Archie Gray. 98.1% of Leeds United fans want the young England international to stay. And listen, we completely empathise with that. We completely understand that. I think the problem with what we're facing right now with Leeds is the suitors for some of our bigger players and the money that we have to owe back, which I think as a fan base, we're quite clear it's 33.7 million when you take into account Sinisterra and Adams. We're not 100% sure how the Red Bull ownership impacts this and how this gives Leeds United a little bit more leeway. The fascinating thing about all of this is Archie Gray's profit. Now, because he's a homegrown player, that looks fantastic against the books. It's pure profit, essentially. Pure profit for Leeds United to sell him on. Now, as a right-back, would you get better right-backs at this level? Worst case scenario, if Archie Gray went? Probably. Would you get better centre midfielders or as good a centre midfielders as Archie Gray? Probably. But he's a Leeds lad. He's also got a massive ceiling, and we love him because of that. A lot of it is sentiment, but we also know he's a quality operator. And for me, I 100% want him to stay, of course. But I have to say, when it's over 98% of Leeds fans who would be essentially not happy if he was to leave, Parag will be taking that into consideration. But if we go back to the meeting he had, he said that he's going to do everything he can in his power, but Leeds are going to have to make some really difficult decisions. And difficult decisions is what is staying in my head, because we've all come to the conclusion, he'll know this, that Crysencio Somerville will be leaving the club. He'll know that we're all very, very aware that Willian Yonso, we're okay with him leaving. Now, if we're actually looking at Leeds Live's poll on Leeds United fans talking and rating these players in terms of percentages, Crysencio Somerville, 55% of the fan base are okay with him leaving. They're fine with him leaving. It's going to be painful. And I think some of them, for whatever reason, in Leeds fans have started to sort of detract away from what he's actually done this season, which is a bit mental. But it's an even lower portion, or I should say an even higher portion of Leeds fans who are okay with Willian Yonso leaving. So these are two of our prize jewels, really, when it comes down to it, when we're talking about quality on the ball. But Ilia Gruev is another one. 91% of Leeds fans want him to stay and would essentially be upset if he was to leave. Now, for me, when you look at Gruev, when you look at Archie, ideally you'd want them to stay. But in particular, in Gruev's case, he's more than replaceable. More than replaceable. So I wanted to do this video because it's so interesting how this is going to work right now. You know, even if we were to sell Gruev and sell Archie, and that kept us within this profit and sustainability, even if it's not likely, but would you be okay with then keeping Somerville and Nonto? It's so strange how it works and how divisive this is going to be. It seems like it is very much sell Archie at no, just do not, off the table. And I completely agree with that and empathise with that. But the bids have to come in for Somerville. They have to come in for Nonso. They have to come in for Gruev. They have to come in for another name as well, who's on the thumbnail. Pat Bamford. A lot of Leeds fans are happy. I think 42% that they'd be happy with him staying. That is a massive majority of Leeds fans. What's that? Is that like 48, 58%? My maths is naturally bad. 58% of Leeds fans who are okay with him leaving. Now, that is so interesting because there's normally such a hype wagon behind Patrick Bamford, and we know his wages are sky high. We spoke about a player earlier on who's at Premier League level and probably on less wages than Pat Bamford when it comes to the scope of it, which is staggering. At this moment in time, Pat's on a very decent wage at Leeds United. He's got 2 years left on his deal. Is he going to be wanting to leave? He's obviously, I believe he's got a wife in Leeds. He's got dogs. I don't actually know if he's got kids. I'm not 100% sure. But will he want to leave Leeds on that almost like lucrative contract? He's going to get that anywhere else. Is anybody going to be able to pay anything near that wage or go near him when it comes to a transfer fee? I don't think they will. So they'd like to get Pat Bamford off the books, in my opinion. They'd probably like to get Ilia off the books as well, especially if they're considering Ilia Gruev, who wasn't even in the conversation at the weekend about him leaving the club. But now we're talking about it. So I wanted to do this video because the percentages is so interesting of what fans actually want when put out on a survey. And I'm going to do something for One Leeds, I think, a little bit of a poll, because I want to see what the temperature of the fans is, my community is. But 91% of Leeds fans want Gruev to stay. 98% of Leeds fans want Archie to stay. But the others are very, very low. Now, is that because Leeds fans have just acclimatised themselves to that opinion that they're leaving anyway, so it doesn't matter, potentially. But maybe it's just the fact that they think they're replaceable. These individuals are replaceable. And that's why I wanted to look at Bamford. I wanted to look at Gruev. I wanted to look at Archie. Leeds are going to be sweating with Archie. They're going to be sweating with him because realistically, they don't want to let him go. But if we don't have a certain bid by a certain time that's accepted, and we get a certain amount of money in, the Red Bull sponsorship will have helped Leeds, of course it will have done. But overall, to meet a certain demand, especially in the tier 2 of English football, Leeds United may be forced to sell Archie Gray this window. And that is a very, very realistic possibility. Now, does that mean that we're acting like a big club, as I've mentioned in streams? Well, if you're a big club, you keep hold of Archie Gray. But at the same time, you've really got to think of, if we don't get the adequate bidding for Somerville, if Ilia Gruev's move doesn't, see through, Nonso, it's been very, very quiet around him in terms of rumours. I can tell you that for a fact. We might have to be having a real conversation about Archie very soon, everybody. Really interested to hear your thoughts on this one. What are your thoughts in terms of percentages? Let me know a ranking. Like, who would you be unequivocally fuming if we sold? Mine is still Archie, number one, obviously. But I think I'm mature enough to look around it and see that Leeds have actually, to keep us above that parapet, to keep us, in a realistic conversation of not being in real financial bother here. We have got to keep above a certain metric, a certain measure. We've got to abide by that. And we've got to sell players, and hopefully stuff's going on in the background. I think we're all very accepting of the players that we're okay with leaving. But Archie Gray, still the jewel in the crown. And if you get a big club coming in with big money straight away, let's have a conversation about it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, everybody. Really fascinated to hear. Check the video out earlier on. Check out the Patreon. See you in a bit.